When I was a childhood, why Rachel sends to be residently to James Taylor old house building, and I starting off with my life as the stories about my career. I was just 7 years old when I just starting my career as a independently to my basis there of small families and subsequently my James sisters. In fact, there is a first place the house is which is called the Domain's Small In-House Studios, which is owned by me. The Domain's company is called Emirzian Waldementer Software Company. Is a other name called James Software Co. This is my very first American Thai independent games development studios, founded back in January 11, 2006 by foundation of my project leader as a childhood. Then, and I went to a old computer, and I usually goes on internet, and I had creating my Hotmails and Gmail, and then when I went to social medias is on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and I was my junior classmate, the first school, the student, and it has to be this junior skill of one of the child typewriter. It have a professional my speak as a professional my national country is originally Finnish, Thai, and my forms of national American Asian, as I called American Thai. This happens where has joined on YouTube back in the January 23, 2006. Under the username Emirzian Waldementer. The channel is known for this ultra creators about my life as internet personality, whereas I bought to using old camera and then had to filming it myself and a roommate. Afterwards, I finished the filming and went to the production, and the software used Windows Movie Maker. And the other says wait is out back in 2004, and I used the old computer, and I went just on the learning how to use that software to the application tools. And the editing software tools, the Windows Movie Maker. And then the other one thing is the Sony Veg Pro. And I just use it as I used it as the first time before. Then I'll just go along with games development tools that I used pre-production game engines as a game engines called Game Maker engines. I basically use the DIY, stand for do it yourself, as I was my project is scratch and I had to do in the development of production. And as afterwards sometimes is that within the 12 months period into the independently small creation into large amount of a largest career as a creators to the independently games development, video makers, animation, and even much more. My family just went to the production stage room as an old computer. What I was made the purposely the juniors as 2D animation, and I have my skills to the digital art and traditional art. For simply this technically, for technique, the art's drawing, and as usual, as I blamed as teachers that I had, as I was just had on YouTuber, which means had my internet personality in a real life. And my family figure out that have the something strange. It has the turns out when I became the autism. The brain is right its corners that as brain is as under my forehead as a control of my minds. As I imagine it, I have to make this game's development is known for independent video makers and the 2D animation. Around this 2008, when I saw this goes the Japanese site and it's discovered to Miku Danks, I install it and I use it. This is the very first time since 2008, and I just going to animate it instead live action photographed videos as a resemblance from masterpiece as a Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Space Jam, and Looney Tunes back in action. Those are the visual effects style. Instead, the Matrix universe. And I just remember watching before when I was a childhood and teenagers. I was 9, I was 14. Answer for that, James Software Co., the company increases size to have 560%, and I just redesigned on website, rewriting on social media, and then it takes my document diary, and it's my own creating my video diary about discussion my life as a independently based it to games development, animation, video maker, live action personality, and many much more. And for this is this year 2019, when I just grew up as a young adult this today, when I was just 20 years old, as relationships has been changed and the school has changed. If it's a belief in the future's development of modern age, with my aspiration to become my famous visual artist and the basic artists, advanced artists, and particularly professional arts and the animation, including the MMD animation. My company is running to active, and I had to still live on to continue with a modern age and the future development. at some point as I have the next year's 2020, my school, the second school, decided to get the graduate about myself, as no one going to school that's high school student classmate, as I officially left the school. And then the company is part of Asia and flew into Europe in Finland, which is an opening to James Software Co. Europe's part relationships to Asia and Europe's, based in the UK at London and the Finland. At some point, we had to be an announcement very far soon. That is all.